Hey everybody, Jason Sherman here. In today's episode of Zero to CEO, I speak with Fractional CFO Armine Alajian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jason.
No problem. Today we're going to talk about how to make your startup investor ready, which is a huge topic of conversation I have with people all the time.
Mhm.
And mostly because people think that their idea is worth $1 billion, and so they want to raise money right away. But before we get into all the information we're going to talk about, what do you actually need to get an investor interested in your startup? Like what are they really looking for?
So, from the financial CFO perspective, you need your numbers, you need your data, you need your projection. Here's my idea. Here's what I plan to do with it. Here's how I plan to take it to market and sell it. And just to sit and write all that down. What does that look like? How am I going to get my revenue? What are my expenses? What do my expenses look like? And just to have that projection so you could go to this investor and say, here, please invest in my great idea because I'm going to make you money.
Yeah, and like as we watch Shark Tank, I'm sure every entrepreneur watches it. They're always like, "You don't know your numbers? You're
Yes.
dead to me," right? And like
Yeah.
they have to know like how much they pay for, cost per install or cost per customer and like lifetime value, what's your revenue, what's your profits, what's your gross margins. Like they want to know like every single number. So I agree, you have to really write it all out, put it in a spreadsheet, really and keep doing that, right? Like
Keep it. It's a live model. You build a model, you have the actuals compared to the model, then you know where you're going, and it's constantly updating. And if new
so
things come up, you plug it in.
is that what you consider investor ready from a financial perspective, or is there anything else in there that they should be looking at?
That's what I consider investor ready. So we have our projection, right?
Yep.
Here's everything that looks like I need 5 employees. I need this much for advertising. So you plug in all your numbers, it's there. And then you have your actual. So accounting is it's actual, not the projection. So
Right.
investors want to see the projection because you didn't start. If you have some actuals, great, you could compare to, but it's a projection. Give me $5 million. This is what I'm going to do. But then you also have to have the actuals to
Right.
compare to that. So that's investor ready. And you're coming to them and you know exactly what you need. And then they come back to you with questions. So then you could go plug into your model like, oh, I didn't consider that. Or what does this look like?
So let's say a startup only has been around for, let's say, 12 months.
Mhm.
They're pre-revenue, they're starting to get customers, but they're not really earning enough to like pay the bills. They're still kind of paying out of pocket or angel investor. Is that too early for a fractional CFO? If not, when do you recommend a startup bringing in a fractional CFO?
I don't think it's early. I think CFO, fractional CFO, accountant, controller, director, I think these are all different titles used for different things. But if you're just starting, bring in that person, the accountant, the CFO, fractional, whatever we want to call it, that knows the business, that knows exactly what it's like to help you, the FP&A person, right? To help you build that projection with all the math inside and then to manage it monthly.
That makes sense. So you're just getting someone to like help guide you along the right
Help to
direction.
guide you, yes, because when you're a big company, you have a CFO who will handle the entire accounting department, right? All the umbrellas under the accounting. And then you have a capital markets CFO or whatever we want to, whatever title we want to put that will go and bring in the funding.
Right. For most startups, like we don't have access to financial infrastructure. Like, for example, in my startup, we just use Google Sheets. We keep track of everything that we spend money on. What do we earn money on? Who are we paying? And
Not even QuickBooks?
we don't even use QuickBooks
Oh
because
my God.
it's just
We
like,
need to talk.
when we work with like our accountant, right? That she does that. She'll take the Google Sheet and she'll categorize it and put it into QuickBooks. Like we just don't have the time to do it. I'm the CEO. I have a VP of marketing. We have, marketing and salespeople and developers. We just don't have a financial person to do that. So is that what you're recommending, that every startup should use QuickBooks?
Every startup should use QuickBooks, but why you have an accountant that does all of that? So you don't need to do it because you're busy building
Okay.
a company. You're already putting it in Google Sheets. Why do it in Google Sheets? So that's the person that fractional CFO, accountant, controller, whatever we want to call that
Right.
person should automatically do that every month where the Google Sheet is not even needed to have systems to build that infrastructure and then to manage it.
Makes sense. And when it comes to, because like investors, we talked about what they're looking for, but they also want KPIs, right? And this is how they get impressed. Like, oh, you hit all these big milestones. So how does that role come into play?
That's more of a FP&A and the projection role. So that's just one piece of the entire financial puzzle, right? What do my sales look like? So you have all these numbers, all these calculations, X number of sales. This is how much it costs. This is how much advertising, right? And then, okay, here's our KPI. Our cost of goods sold needs to be 20% of revenue. I'm just throwing
Right.
out numbers. So this is what we planned. This is how we plan on making the money. Does it actually come out that way?
Yeah. Hopefully, right? That's what everybody hopes.
Right. But then that's why you constantly have to do it. You have to constantly update your model. You have to, the actuals tell you what's really happening. It's telling
Yeah.
you what the market is saying. It's telling you the economic, political, environmental, everything. Your actuals are your actuals.
And I think that you're bringing up a good point over and over again that people should really listen and or if they're watching, that actuals and projections are live. You have to continuously update them. Don't just
Yes.
assume that because you finished it, okay, I'm done, hand it off. No, the next week, the next month, you have to keep updating those over and over again. So we keep saying that. And there must be a couple of common mistakes that startups are making with their finances. Can you maybe give us one or two of them?
They are one of the big ones. They are mixing business with personal or
Ooh,
not big, right? It's not intentional.
that's a
It's
no-no.
just, but it's for me, or they want these reimbursements, or everything is either revenue or expense, but it's not. We have debt, we have equity, we have just so many different things. Let's make sure the financials are really telling you the story of your
Yeah,
business and not just bookkeeping, just plugging in those numbers and saying, oh, I coded. No, like, what is this really saying?
yeah, that
And
makes a
just
lot
to
of
get the
sense.
basic understanding, do you know what this means?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Is it a surprise?
No, that makes a lot of sense. And that also kind of falls into red flags, right? Financial red flags that'll scare off an investor. What, you know, if you're walking in the Shark Tank, we know what they say on there. So what do you recommend to people to say, like, you know, avoid these things that you don't want to scare investors off?
Be have a plan. You know, not everything happens to plan, but at least have a plan you're using their money. They're giving you money. It's easier to be not so careful with other people's money than when it's your money.
Yeah.
So, and they want to know, how are you spending their money? Show me what you did with it. You told me you're going to do this. Did you do that? Show me. And then are you going to run out of money? Is this a hobby? Is it because all investors want to make money? It's an investment.
Right.
Where's my return on
What's the
investment?
runway? You just mentioned that, right? Like, what's the runway? I think that's another important point is how long can you make the money last? Like, let's say you raise $500,000 from an investor and some guy's getting, you know, a sports car and an office and like all sorts of vacations and stuff, which he's allowed to do if he wants to, but that's not going to benefit the company. So like, what if the other guy doesn't do any of that and works from home and is able to stretch that out for like 2 years? So, you know, the
But
runway
before you
matters.
get the 500, you present the model. You say, this is what I'm going to do with your 500, right? And then Q1 comes around or the quarter passes, the investor, okay, show me what you did with the 500. Oh, you bought
Right.
a car. Oh, you bought this. I mean, is that even ethical?
Yeah. Right. Well, you know, people have done it for decades and over hundreds of years, probably they've been
That
just, you
can't
know,
last too long.
it can't, but you know, they figure they're getting the benefit of the funding and they can have a good time and then it might not last, but they can maybe find some other
No, but
sucker,
the
right?
funding is for a specific purpose.
I agree. You know, some people should listen to that is, you know, use it for that purpose and, you know, make sure that you're making your investors happy because at the end of the day, you want to succeed, right? And
Right, it's a relationship. It's like they're funding in you, they're believing in you, and you're investing in the person because you believe this person could. Sure, things happen, right? We can't control everything, but if you choose to buy a luxury car as opposed to hiring an engineer to build you, then what is your motive?
yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I'm assuming you help startups, you know, create books, right? Investor ready books or clean books. What's the difference between the two?
Between what, the clean books or?
Yeah, just like just standard clean books or like investor ready books, because like they have different purposes. One's really for internal use and one's really for raising money.
Well, books are books. It's making sure every account is categorized properly, reconciled, GAAP, accounting rules, laws, like it actually looks like a formal financial statement. And then you have your detailed projections. If you take a sales line, $1 million, then you have supporting documents that show you how you came up with that million. So you present both to the investors. They want to see your financials because then they will ask these questions. Oh, what does this rent look like? You rented something. What does this look like? So then they could see how you're coming up with those numbers.
Yeah.
So investor ready would be that, just the details, and the book ready financials, your financials. It's like your Bible. It's the actual, it's whatever happened. You can't change it, happened.
Yeah. I mean, this is the part that most entrepreneurs fall short on. They're so busy building the product, doing sales, getting feature requests from customers, dealing with customers, marketing, ads, social media. They just completely forget about this stuff. It's hard. And it's kind of hard because you make it sound like it's so easy to, oh, you need these 5 things, right? But those 5 things can get a little complicated, especially when there's like legalities involved, right? So what do you consider like part of the law that you have to follow in order to be able to be on the up and up with investors?
Just have, like, accounting is always overlooked, or is like at the end, oh my God, I need it. It's like going to the emergency. No, it's something that just, it's the infrastructure. It needs to be done. It's something in the back that just needs to be done. Have the right team, have the right resources to know that they take care of you. They have your best interest. It's there. It's done. You go focus on your sales, on bringing, because that's what you do best. You're not your own lawyer. Everybody goes and hires a law firm to do everything. No problem there. Everybody hires the marketing people. No problem there. But accountants, it's always like,
because I guess it's because it's the one thing that, they feel like, I guess from my experience of talking to entrepreneurs, they feel like they can keep track of their expenses. But I always say, but it's not just about your expenses. There's other factors. Plus, like, there's got to be ways to save money too, right? There's tax write-offs and grants.
Absolutely. It's the expenses, it's the patterns, it's the trends you get to see. You're like, oh, and then when you have that data, you could make decisions based on that. It's just, you shouldn't be doing that. That's why you have an accountant, CFO, fractional CFO, to do all that for you. And
that's where forecasting comes in too. You're talking a little bit about forecasting too, it sounds like, right?
Right. And then when you said about taxes and projections, taxes, you start with the accounting and then you have taxes. What does that look like? Am I going to pay so many taxes? Do I need to spend more money? Do I need to invest? Like, what do I need to do to mitigate that? What's the architecture behind that? In the beginning, you have losses.
Yeah.
And then, well, what do I do with that? So it's a holistic accounting, finance, tax.
And it's also a mindset. You have to get into the mindset of being able to adapt to the different pieces of infrastructure that you need to and you have to kind of embed it and integrate it into your startup, right?
We're your partners. We're your best friends. We want to see you succeed. Please tell us. They usually tell the accountants at the end, after all the decisions are made, oh, we're doing this. Well, hold on.
Well, you know a lot about this, obviously. And if somebody wants to work with you specifically to help them fix up their books and maybe prepare for their first pitch or investor meeting, how are they get a hold of you?
They could visit my website, alajiangroup.com, ALAJIAN group, or email info@alajiangroup. Those are the 2 best ways. Through email, that way it's there. We'll get back to you. We'll do an assessment and we'll help you.
Guys, you need accounting help.
You need it. It's not even a
don't just use Google Sheets. Yeah, don't
no Google Sheets.
Reach out to Armine at alajiangroup.com and hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we will see you guys in the next one.